children. Good morning to everyone. Dear students, welcome to English class. Today we are going to learn about a new poem, very interesting, which is titled as The Solitary Reaper, written by William Wordsworth. And in today's session, we may learn about the meaning of poem Solitary Reaper. Solitary means a person being lonely or alone in the field. And reaper means a person who cuts the crops when it is ripe. Here we can see a lonely reaper in this field. And the poem is like a ballad. It tells a story similar to a folk tale or legend, usually set to music. Simple repeating rhymes often with a refrain. But it should be in the form of poem. Then only we can call it as ballad. Now, The Solitary Reaper was written by William Wordsworth. Now let's learn about the poet William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth is an English romantic poet with Samuel Taylor Coleridge helped to launch the Romantic Age in English literature, lyrical ballads. He was born on 7th April 1770 in Cockermouth, United Kingdom. William Wordsworth, born in its beloved Lake District, was the son of an attorney. He went to school first at Pensith and then at Hawkshead Grammar School before studying from 1787 at St. John's College, Cambridge. Today, Wordsworth's poetry remains widely read. Its almost universal appeal is perhaps best explained by Wordsworth's his own words on the role for him of poetry, what he called the most philosophical of all writing, whose object is truth carried alive into the heart by passion. Wordsworth spent the winter of 1798 to 99 with his sister and Coleridge in Germany, where he wrote several poems, including the enigmatic Lucy's Poems. Wordsworth's second verse collection is known in 2 volumes, appeared in 1807. In 1843, he succeeded Robert Southey as England's poet laureate. Wordsworth died on 23rd of April 1850. Now let's learn about the poem Solitary Reaper. The poem was written on November 5th, 1805 and published in 1807 in Poems in 2 volumes. There are 4 stanzas of 8 lines each, iambic tetrameter, and 4 unstressed and 4 stressed syllables in a line. The rhyme scheme is sometimes A B C B D D E E or A B A B C C D D. The poem is written in the first person. It can be classified as pastoral, describing a scene from the country life. Poem is dominated by one central figure, a Highland girl working alone in the fields harvesting grain and singing melancholic song. Here about the poem, the poet William Wordsworth explains about A solitary reaper in a field, one who is singing a melodious song. The poem begins from an outsider perspective and moves to the insider perspective. Wordsworth from outsider and the girl being as a insider perspective. And back to Wordsworth again. Relationships are established in the poem between the poet and the reader, the poet and the girl, the reader and the girl. The poem is an effort to recreate the whole scene in which the maiden is the center of the natural world. Blissful mood that the song of the maiden creates in Wordsworth. And the poet's definition of poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings and emotions recollected in tranquility. Poetic values, beautiful scene in the rustic natural setting and by choosing a simple rustic girl. The language is natural and simple. Students, now we can read the poem stanza by stanza. I may read the poem, listen carefully and understand it and try to read by yourself with a good pronunciation and punctuation. Please take your textbook from page number 66 and 67. Just go through line by line and observe it and listen carefully. The poem is named as The Solitary Reaper. The first stanza. Behold her, single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself. Stop here or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grains and sings melancholy strain. Oh, listen for the wail profound is overflowing with the sound. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes to weary bands of travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest hybrids. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old and happy far-off things and battles long ago. Or is it some more humbly familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and may be again? Whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work, and over the sickle bending, I listened, motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. Written by William Wordsworth. So students, now you can learn the meaning of each hard words from the poem Solitary Reaper. First stanza says about, behold her single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself, stop here or gently pass. Here, the beautiful girl is walking alone in the cotton fields of Scotland, that is in the Highland. Lass is a maiden, a young girl. Yon is from yonder. Reaping is to cut grain for harvest with a scythic sickle or reaper. Alone she cuts and binds the grain and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen for the wail profound is overflowing with the sound. Grain is the fruit of cereal grass, Melancholy means sad. Strain is the tone or the tune. Valley profound is the deep valley. Overflowing means reverberating or resounding. There is a sense of joy and respect for the girl and her song in Wordsworth's remark. Oh, listen for the veil profound. And the second stanza goes like this. No nightingale did ever chaunt, or welcome notes to weary bands, or travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. Here, chant is a simple melody, a song sung repeatedly. Notes, musical notes sung. Weary bands are tired travellers. And the shady haunt is like an oasis in the desert. Continuation of the stanza. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest hybrids. Thrilling means causing intense excitement and pleasure. Cuckoo bird is a solitary bird that seldom occurs in pairs, generally known as shy bird, more often heard than seen. And the third stanza, will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old unhappy far off things and battles long ago. Here, plaintive numbers refers to the sad music of the song. And Wordsworth here wants to know the content of the song she is singing. Or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be again? Humble lay means sad song. Wordsworth wonders again what the song may be about, and he connects the present and the future. Emphasis is again on pain and loss. The fourth stanza, whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. Here, sickle means is an instrument to cut grass, a curved blade. And Wordsworth emphasizes the beauty of the song and its power to love. The song appears not to have an ending. I listened motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. Here, Wordsworth describes two effects of the song on him. He stood motionless and still, entranced by the beauty of it, and he moved away but carried it in his heart. Students, I hope you are following the class, isn't it? So here in this poem, the poet tells us the story of a lovely Highland girl who is walking in a field and singing a song. He is deeply impressed by her song and remembers the melody of her song even after he has left the place. He cannot understand the language of the song, but the sad beauty of her voice goes straight to his heart. The atmosphere of the poem and the song of the girl as a part of beauty of nature leave a lasting impression on the mind of the poet. Poet in the first paragraph advises the passerby to stop short and listen to her. The Highland girl cuts and binds the grain in sheaves, singing a sad song as well as busy in work. Poet compares the voice of reaping girl to nightingale. In addition, he also says even nightingale cannot sing as sweet as her. When some group of tired travelers reaches Arabian deserts, the song of the girl welcomes them, and the voice of the cuckoo is very sweet, which sings in spring seas, but the voice of the girl is rather sweeter than the cuckoo, because her voice broke the silence of the seas. Poet guesses the girl is singing an unhappy, simple song of ordinary matter. Whatever may be the theme, poet wants the song not come to an end. And finally, the poet, being a poet of nature, was profoundly impressed and remembered the song for its melodious effect. The poet does not understand the alien language of the song, and he says, will no one tell him the meaning of the song of the girl? He says that perhaps the girl is singing some sad song of the past, and he guesses that the girl is singing some unhappy song or singing about events that have taken in the past. Maybe she is singing for the lover who has jilted her. The poet did not know the theme of the song. Whatever may be the theme of the song, the poet wishes the song of the young girl would not come to an end. And the poet says that first he listened to her song standing still and motionless. But as he mounted up the hill of Scotland, the tune of the song was so sweet that it struck the heart of the poet. He was so impressed that he carried the melody of the song with him long after the song was entered by the girl. Actually, the poet, being a poet of nature, was profoundly impressed by his natural scene. He remembered this song for its natural, melodious effect. Students, by this we end the session here. Continue to read the poem once again and try to understand it, and also write the summary of the poem in your homework note, and copy of it you have to send to me. At the same time, by heart the poem and record it and send to me before Sunday. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. God bless you.